There we go. All right. So let's talk about attendance for practice. Junior high practice Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Junior high has Wednesdays off. High school, we practice 5 days a week. 3:20 to 5:15 is the practice time every day. And practice is mandatory. Now, I talked to the team about it today. I'm very understanding about the fact that that track is not, it's not their life like it's my life. So if they have youth group, if they have something else happening that they have to be at and they have to miss a practice for, please email me at least a day in advance. And I ask you to email me or send it in the band app, which if you don't have the band app information, please email me and I will send that to you. I think most people are on it by now, but if you don't have that information, email me and I'll send the band app information to you. But please let me know at least a day in advance. I always tell the kids, nothing bothers me more than being told the day of practice, hey, Lundquist, I'm not going to be at practice today. Because I've already prepared my practice for the day. I've already prepared the workout. I've already, thought about what each kid is going to do that day. And then I've got to go back to the drawing board. So just please give me at least a day's notice if they're going to miss for some reason. And that'll be fine. I always say that 3 unexcused absences are a reason for a dismissal from the team. But the reality is I've only had to do that once, 13 years of coaching here at Emmanuel, and that person had a lot more than three warnings. So the kids are always real good about letting me know what's going on. We practice whether it's sunny, whether it's raining, whether there's snow on the ground, we're practicing. So make sure that they come dressed in layers so that if we're inside, they can layer down, and if we go outside, they can layer up. They just got to be prepared to practice no matter where we're going to be. If we have access to the gym and it's a really cold day, then we might just say, hey, we're going to be inside today. But if we don't have access to anything in the building, we might have to go outside, and in that case, they have to layer up. So just be ready for that, especially when it's cold. This is track season, so we experience all 4 seasons during track season. So just be ready for that. Let's see. All right, so yeah, that's attendance. Just make sure that that I know in advance if they're going to miss a practice. As far as meets are concerned, I ask that every athlete attend every meet. The ones that are really important, though, are the county championships, the conference meet, the Metro Buckeye Conference meet, and districts. If they can't make those, if they can't make at least if they can't make districts and conference, then maybe we should have a conversation about whether or not they should be doing track, because that's really what we work towards that's what we work for the whole season is conference and districts. So I mean, that's a conversation we can have offline, but they really should be at those 2 meets. As far as the other meets are concerned, I want 100% participation on those. But again, communicate with me if something happening and they can't be there. Communication is always key. I got to know what's going on. And if it's last minute, like I have to put my rosters in for the meet sometimes 4, 5, 6 days in advance. So if I find out, a day before that they can't make the meet, then all of a sudden that creates problems for me. So just communicate as soon as you possibly can if they can't make a meet. But again, conference and districts, they just got to be available for that. If they want to do track, they really got to be available for those 2 meets. Junior high does not have districts. Districts is just for high school. Mr. Herring already talked about the fact that we don't any buses this year. That's gonna be hard. I've got 26 high school boys and 16 high school girls registered. The junior high teams are a little smaller. Those are going to be pretty easy to handle, but the high school teams are going to be really difficult as far as making sure that everybody can make it to meets, especially on weekday meets, because we've got to be out of the building usually by 3:15, 3:20. Sometimes parents aren't even out of work by then. Usually the meets start at 4:30, 5 o'clock. So on weeknights. So I need to come up with a list of parents who are available to drive, and so I'll need parents who are going to be available to drive to please email me and let me know you're going to be available. I've got a form I'm going to need you to fill out, and then we're just going to have to caravan to meets, especially on weeknights. We're going to have to caravan to meets. Saturday meets, we can just meet there. We can just meet at the meet. And if there's a student who can't get to a meet on Saturday, just let us know, and one of the coaches will give them a ride, or we'll arrange a ride for them with a parent who can drive them, who's filled out the appropriate paperwork. Or you can communicate with other parents, so we don't even have to worry about paperwork. But if it comes through me, then we have to have the paperwork filled out. So again, Saturdays are a little easier, whereas weeknight meets, we're just going to have a list of parents who can help us out. And like I said, we'll caravan to the meets. Most of the meets are local. There's only one meet that's kind of far away. That's the Dixie Quad. There a little bit. The rest of the meets are really local until you get to the postseason. Once you get to the postseason, again, we're traveling. This is any questions about that before I move on? I'm really trying to go as fast as I can here. All right. This is something that kind of can't. It has irked some parents in the past, but it's been a policy of mine. I've been coaching here since 2008, and it's been a policy of mine for all those years. And that is, at the track meets, I want my athletes to stay the entire meet. There's a few reasons for that. Number one, track is a team sport. We compete as a team. And I want my athletes to be able to be at the meet to cheer on their teammates until the last race. So even if they finish early, I want them to stick around and cheer on their teammates and support their teammates until the end of the meet. Now, sometimes people will come to me and they'll say, hey, I've got this special situation happening. That's fine. That's fine. Again, we communicate and everything's good. But in general, I like my athletes to stay until the end of the meet, just because it is a team sport. Also, it helps me to kind of, if I have to go to a sub, like if there's God forbid there's an injury or something happens and I have to sub somebody out, I've got more options that way. So yes, students are allowed to drive themselves to the meet. They can drive siblings, but they cannot drive other students. Yep, good question. All right. As far as the any questions about that sticking around the whole meet? I know some people in the past haven't liked it, but it really is just something that is kind of essential. And quite frankly, some people don't like it because track meets can be 4 or 5 hours long. So that's. Again, I'm going to be a little more flexible this year because of the fact that we aren't going to have a bus this year. But I really like to stick as close to that as we can, just because it really helps. It really helps us out. All right. Uniform. So we will hand out uniforms here in about a week and a half or so. Like Coach Herring said, wash in cold water, hang to dry. There's not much to track uniforms. There's not much there. Most athletes like to wear undershirts and undershorts. Make sure that the undershorts, we go with spandex, and the spandex are black. Anything that they wear underneath their jerseys are black. That's our color. We go with black. The thing is that they all have to match. So we can't have some in black and some in white. We have to match, because if the relays don't match, then they get disqualified. I know it's a stupid rule, but that's how it is. So our team color is black. The undershorts, the spandex, and the undershirts, we go with black. Make sure that there's only one logo visible also. Sometimes you get these spandex that have logos all over them, and for whatever reason, they require just one logo. Um, and like I said, there's not a whole lot to those uniforms. So definitely, being a Christian school, we want to make sure that we also focus on modesty. So female athletes, make sure that we do what we need to make sure that we cover up appropriately. Male athletes too, but want to make sure we're cognizant of that. All right. Any questions about meets before we move on? All right, let's talk about shoes real fast. Our track athletes will run 300 to 600 miles throughout the course of this year, throughout the course of this season. So it's vital that they have running shoes, real running shoes, not like, I went to Walmart and spent $20 on a pair of shoes that said running underneath it. We need to go out and get some good running shoes. Good running shoes are going to cost anywhere between $60 to $80 or $90. We do have an arrangement with Up and Running in Troy. It's a shoe store that specializes in running shoes. They're located in Troy, and all you have to do in the month of February or March is go there, tell them you're from Emmanuel Christian Academy, and you're going to get 10% off of your shoes, and they will actually fit you for your shoes and make sure that you are in the type of shoe that is best for your foot type. And we definitely recommend that you use that service. They do a great job. Normally we have a spike night where we all go there on the same night and we have pizza and have a good time. But with COVID, they can't pack the store like that. So they're giving us till the end of March. So all you got to do is go to Up and Running by the end of March, tell them you're from Emmanuel Christian Academy, and they'll give you the discount, and they'll also fit you for your shoe. But definitely have running shoes. I see people out there in Converse shoes and basketball shoes and whatever else, and there's a very high probability that they'll get some sort of injury if they're not in the correct shoes. As far as spikes are concerned, so you've got two types of shoes in track. You got your trainers, and those are the type that you wear at practice, and then you got your spikes. And your spikes are the ones that you race in. And those are really lightweight. And there's not a whole lot of support there. You really shouldn't practice in these. Unless you're like practicing handoffs or something like that, you really shouldn't practice in these. They're really strictly for racing. And but I really want my high school athletes to get spikes also. So 2 pairs of shoes, trainers, and spikes. If there's a financial issue where you can't swing that, we really need to make sure that we get the trainers rather than the spikes. But in a perfect world, we'll have trainers and we'll have spikes. I do have some pairs of spikes at the school that have been donated by graduating athletes that we can certainly give out on a needed basis. Junior high athletes, I'm not as concerned about spikes. Junior high is a developmental program. And if you want to get spikes, great. But if not, that's fine also. But high school, I'd really like to have spikes. And there's different spikes. So if you're a distance runner, you'll get distance spikes. And if you're a sprinter, you'll get sprint spikes. They even have jumping spikes. All right. So spikes that are specific to your events. And if you tell Up and Running, I'm a distance guy, they'll put you in the right spikes. Or I'm a sprinter, they'll put you in the right spikes. All right, let's move on. Any questions so far? All right. We are, the students are student athletes, and there's a reason why they put student first, because the student is the most important part. Athletics are secondary. So one thing that I do is I make sure that that I run a report on my athletes to make sure that they are doing well in their classes. And if they are not doing well, I will be proactive and I will get them on a study table. So we will have a study table at Emmanuel, and one of my assistant coaches, if they're not doing well, and I determine not doing well as having a grade under a C. If you do not determine if you determine that not doing well is anything under a B or whatever the case may be, you let me know. And if their grades fall below that, we'll get them in a study table. I've got a coach already queued up who's ready to do a study table twice a week on Mondays and Wednesdays to make sure. There we go. All right, to make sure that they are doing their work and getting everything turned in. So let me know if you want me to keep a special eye on one of your students, and let me know what kind of your cutoff is, and we can certainly have a study table ready for them if that situation comes up. Hopefully it doesn't come up, but academics is more important than athletics, and I want to make sure that we reinforce that. Any questions about that? I only really have one more thing I think to cover. All right. So let's talk about spring break. We have 2 track meets during spring break. And has everybody seen the schedule? I think it's posted online now, but I also posted it in the band app. Let me know if you need that schedule. Just email me and I'll send it out to you. But we have 2 track meets over spring break. We have one on each Saturday on each end of spring break. I completely get it. For some people, spring break is the ideal time to travel. If that is the case, I'll out to you guys right now. All right, there's my email. Let me know if you need the schedule or if you need the band app information, because after tonight, the band app is going to be the primary way that I communicate with you. I've tried email groups in the past, and sometimes my emails get sent to junk mail. Sometimes I put in a letter wrong or a number wrong. And with the band app, I just don't think that I think there's less room to mess up. So that's really going to be our primary form of communication, is on the band app. So let me know, email me if you need any of that, and I'll just reply and send you what you need. All right, but as far as spring break is concerned, if you are traveling over spring break, I need to know as soon as possible. Because I will be putting in rosters for that probably around the second week of March. I'll be putting in rosters for that. For the first meet over spring break, probably around the second week of March. So please, please, please let me know as soon as you can if you're going to be missing one of the spring break meets, because that's going to be very important when I start putting in those rosters. We will have practice over spring break at a location to be determined. Right now, it's probably going to be at Emmanuel. And it'll probably be the 3:15 to or 3:20 to 5:15, but that's all kind of up in the air right now. But we will be having practice over spring break. Again, if you're going to be out of town, that's fine. You just need to let me know as soon as you can. That being said, with the exception of spring break, if school's out, practice is out. So if there's a snow day, or if there is, I hope there's not any more snow days, but if there's a snow day, or if, I don't know, if there's a holiday that I'm not remembering, if school's out, practice is out, with the exception of spring break. Will we be going to an actual track to practice? I'm working that out. Normally I will take small groups to Shawnee and to practice at Shawnee, because Shawnee has always been very gracious to allow us to use their track. Some schools want to charge us $200 a day to use their track. Northeastern, I'm looking at you. But Shawnee has always let us use their track for free. The problem is that with COVID, we haven't gotten cleared yet to use their track. What we do is we'll go over, like, let's say we're going to practice some handoffs with 4x1 and 4x2 today. We'll take them over and practice there. If maybe we're going to take pole vaulters and high jumpers and long jumpers over, it's just that type of thing. We usually don't take the whole team over, because that's a lot of people to put on the track that's not ours, but we would take small groups over. So I am trying to work that out. If we do go to Shawnee to practice with small groups, you will know at least a week in advance who's going on what day, because for pickup for those athletes, if they don't have their own car, if they have their own car, they're allowed to drive themselves over. But if not, pickup for those athletes will be at Shawnee. The coaches can drive them from the school to Shawnee, but then pick will be there. And obviously, let us know if you have concerns and you don't want us to do that. But it is very important for us to be able to get on a track. And early in the season, while we're doing all of our conditioning, it's not as important. But when we really start learning field events, when we start learning handoffs, when we start doing the technical stuff, we really need to be on a track. And like I said, we'll be doing that in small groups. So I'm still getting clearance on that. I hope it can happen, because if not, we're going to have to get real creative this year. Good question, Vernon. All right. So again, if school's out, track is out, with the exception of spring break. All right. I believe that is all that I have. Does anybody have any questions? We don't know yet. We're going to be getting, we'll be getting that information here in a few days, I believe, as far as what track is going to look like as far as COVID guidelines is concerned. I coached cross country earlier this year, and the guidelines were not that oppressive, and there's similar outdoor sports that are spread out. So hopefully we'll have kind of the same thing in track, where just basically some mask wearing and some social distancing with the camps. But other than that, I think we're going to be just fine. Yep. So I'm going to have, as far as warm-ups are concerned, I'm working with an apparel store right now. I'm hoping he's working on a design for me, and he said he would have it back to me in a couple days. That was Monday. That wasn't Monday. Today's Monday. That was Friday. So hopefully we'll get it. I'll get that information by the end of the week, and we'll have the store by the end of the week that you guys can get in there and look at apparel. I really like to have the team look like a team. So as far as warm-ups are concerned, you can buy them through the store that we provide, or you can go somewhere else and buy warm-ups, but I'd like the warm-ups to be black, because that's kind of our team color is black. So warm-up should be the jacket, the sweats, should be black. But we will have those in the team store. Yes, you can come, Vernon, on Monday. All right. Any other questions? All good questions. All good questions. All right. I told the kids today that I really try to accommodate them when it comes to what they want to do in track. There's a lot of opportunity to do distance, to do sprints, to do mid-distance, to do jumping events. We even have pole vault. We have a lot of opportunity to do some really cool stuff. We have hurdles. So I try to accommodate what they want to do. But sometimes after a few weeks of me watching them, there's what they want to do. And then sometimes, not usually, but sometimes there's what they maybe should be doing. And I have had that conversation with athletes before that, maybe you should be doing this. Bottom line is, though, I want everybody to have fun. So, if I say, hey, I know you want to be a sprinter, but maybe you should be doing distance, or maybe you should be doing mid. If that athlete comes back to me and says, Lundquist, I really want to sprint, that's fine. Then you're going to sprint. Really want people to have fun and get as much as they can out of this experience. But I also want to compete, and I want to compete at a high level. And so sometimes that means stretching athletes out beyond their comfort zone. And that's something that we've always done really effectively here. All right. Anything else? Vernon? No. Anything else? All right. All right. We're going to have a great season, everybody. Um, just like I said, keep the lines of communication open and let me know what's going on. And and we're gonna have a great season. Um, there's no more questions, then I think we can wrap it up. All right. Thanks, guys.